On the guest list, Steve Howey of True Lies.
I'm thrilled to talk to you. True Lies looks incredible. I speak for a lot of people when I say I loved the 94 movie. Had you seen it before you joined the series? And if so, what did you think of it?
Yeah, of course. I saw it in the movie theater. I mean, I'm a huge James Cameron fan. Grew up watching, idolizing Arnold Schwarzenegger. Jamie Lee Curtis is a legend in the business. Tom Arnold was perfect in it. Paxton, amazing. Yeah, it was the first $100 million movie, mega blockbuster, huge hit. I loved it. So when I got the job, it was a little daunting. It was a little scary, to say the least. Big shoes to fill, but exciting. I was really excited.
Yeah, I bet. And you mentioned big shoes to fill. I mean, literally, you've got Arnold Schwarzenegger doing the role that you're now playing. What was your process like where you're like, okay, I'm not going to try to be Schwarzenegger in this. I'm going to do my own thing. What was it like?
That's exactly right. I was going to do my own thing. I talked to Ginger about it during the pilot, and I was like, look, there's no way we can do anything near what they did. Let's just make it our own. This is the TV version. This is the continuation from the movie. Let's, hopefully we'll do it justice. Ginger is amazing. She's beautiful. She's smart, and she's one of the funniest people I've ever met. She is an amazing improvisation. What is the word? She improvs. She's an improvisational.
Yeah, there you go.
Improvisational genius. Yeah, it was. We talked about that. She was going to be my straight person for me. I was going to be her straight person for her. We were going to have fun. That's really what it came down to. Because right when we met each other at the chemistry read, she improv'd. She was throwing stuff at me. I was throwing stuff back at her. I was like, oh my God, she's so amazing. She liked that I was, down for her improv. And so we knew we liked each other. And then once that was established, it was like, oh, you're not a bad person. Oh, you're not a bad. I was like, oh, okay, cool. We can be friends. And that chemistry really helped the performances. It also helped the love that Helen and Harry have for each other. So it is believable that this guy who lied to her for 17 years about being a spy, that, his love for her and the family was going to help the blow that he's been lying all these years. So yeah, hopefully the chemistry that we have as actors and as people comes across as these characters.
Yeah, it definitely will. Talk about that chemistry. It's so important. But I think one thing that people do not realize for Hollywood shows and movies is you've got that chemistry read. And I loved what you just said about you're trying to make sure, oh, okay, this person's a good person at the end of the day. Because I'm sure you'll work with people and you're like, okay, I just have to work with this person.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, everybody's different. We all go through our experiences. Artists are different, and they go about their process in different ways. It doesn't mean that you don't respect them or you can't work with them. You have to be malleable. You have to be. And I mean, if you're a huge superstar, you don't have to be as malleable. But if you're working and you're coming up in this business and you're a supporting role, you have to bob and weave. You have to go with the flow. You have to fight the current sometimes and then go with the current. Fortunately, luckily, my female lead, my partner in this, happens to be an amazing person and really, really funny. I know a lot of funny people. She's one of the funniest people I've ever met. She made me laugh every day, all the time. And so I was so lucky because that levity that she brought helped our performances. It helped me. High tide raises all ships. So she was the high tide that helped raise my ship. So I was very grateful for her, just because, my mentor used to say your attitude is the aperture of which your talent flows. So if you have a bad attitude, you're going to have a hard time getting your talent out. And if you have a good attitude, that talent can flow. And so during this process of shooting the show, from the pilot to the series, there were many times where a bad attitude was just par for the course, just because of the situations and how fast we were moving and how hard it was, and the stunts that we had to do, and the sleep deprecation, and the process of learning all these lines when you just had no sleep. And so her being so funny and lighthearted and fun was essential to like pulling this off. Seriously. And I'm not just saying that to blow smoke. It was like I needed her to be her, and thank God it was her, because it helped me so much.
Yeah, that's terrific. She's one of the big differences between the movie and the show as well, because unlike the Jamie Lee Curtis role, at least from the trailers, it seems like she kicks a little butt too. Talk about that aspect of the show and any other big changes that you loved from the movie to the show.
Well, yeah. In the movie, Helen is talking to what she thinks is a spy. And she's getting into it because it's exciting, because she thinks her husband is boring. And so here's this guy offering this excitement. But Harry in the movie is a spy. So when he finds this out, he wants to know what's going on. And then when they get kidnapped, he admits to her that she's a spy, which is really funny, because she's like, no, honey, you're not, blah, blah. But in the TV version, Helen, being bored with her husband, thinks that her husband is having an affair. So she admits this to him, and he's like, what? I'm not having an affair. And so to try to convince her, and also to appease her suspicions of what's going on, and all these times where he's at conferences and there's something not right, he invites her to go to Paris on an operation with Omega Sector. And in that process, they get kidnapped, and then Harry admits that he's a spy. So there's similarities, but it's different from there. And we get into the transition of Helen from housewife to now spy. For her protection, the family's protection, she has to become a spy. So that's what happens continuing on. I don't want to give too much away, but the True Lies turns into this double spy family that goes on missions and saves the world.
That sounds amazing. That sounds like a ton of fun. Now, you just posted a great behind-the-scenes video on Instagram of you and Ginger testing spy gear, which begs the question, what is the coolest piece of spy gear you use on True Lies? And is there a piece of spy gear that exists or doesn't that you would love to try out in the future?
Yeah, there's a lot of lock breaking spy gadgets. There's a laser pen that's really cool. I think my favorite was the harpoon gun. Yeah.
Can you say more about that? That sounds awesome.
No, I'm kind of pulling the rug. We didn't, a lot of that stuff is just, things like the laser pen. It's just a pen, and then they put the laser in post. So it's not like we really have that kind of spy stuff. We're not really using it. It's just movie magic in post production. So unfortunately, we just are like holding what looks like a key fob or a lighter, and then are like, oh no, there's going to be a huge spark, and then there's going to be zzers out of it, and you cut the steel door off, and you're like, oh, okay. Well, so I just hold this lighter and then pretend to, yeah, that's it. It's supposed to look cool, but it does look cool after the special effects are put in.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel cool when I'm doing it, but
That's hysterical. Now, one thing a lot of the fans of the movie are excited about is the return of Tom Arnold. What can you say about
Yeah,
him and working with him?
that was a treat. Um, when he came on, I wasn't really sure about the vibe just because he was part and an essential part of how amazing that movie was. And then after working with him, it was extraordinary. He's really funny. He was so funny and he was really gracious. And he improved a lot of funny stuff. And, we were just shooting the shit and like having a couple laughs and exchanging stories. And he told amazing stories about how James Cameron fought for him and no one wanted him. No one wanted Tom Arnold. And James Cameron was like, no, absolutely not. I'm not going to humor anyone else. It's Tom Arnold. And then I told Tom, I was like, to have one of your best performances as an actor be a huge blockbuster, that's kind of awesome. And he was like, thanks, man. And I was like, yeah, it's true. It's like you stole the movie. You were like one of the best things in that movie. And then at the end, after we shot that episode, he came to me and he said, I wasn't too sure about how this experience was going to be. And I said, I felt the same. And he said, but afterwards, after we did it, I'm really glad I did it. And you guys are special and you have something really cool here. Good luck. And I was like, I feel the same. Thank you so much for coming on. So it was a blessing. It was really good to have him because I felt like he christened us. He passed the torch, as it were.
Yeah, I love that. And last question for you. Talk about how cool it is to do different types of role, because you look at Reba and Shameless and everything you've done. I feel like your characters could not be more different, which has got to be a blast as an actor.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. But yeah, it's we as actors are all the characters that we play, and we're not, right? Just because you play a one thing doesn't mean you are that person. And it doesn't mean you're not that person either. I don't know if that makes sense, but you can't help but be you in that role. I realize that, but at the same time, there's some roles that certain actors can't play because of their experience, because of their look, because of their age, because of their whatever it may be. For this specifically, Harry Tasker, there's no way I would have been able to play Harry 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I had to go through what I had to go through to play this character. And it just came to me at the same time that I was able to play it. And I think that is very fortunate for me in my career. But, I've played goofy roles. I've played stupid roles. I've played fun roles. I've played comedy roles. I've done a lot of different things. I got to do Sam Shepard in this one act play, and it was very dark. So I got to do that no one saw. It was in a 99-seat theater at the beginning of 2020. But yeah, I wanted it to be different. I wanted Harry to be very different from Kev from Shameless and Van from Reba, some of the other other movies that I've done, because Harry's specific and he's his own person, and he's not like me at all. I mean, he is me, but he's not like me in so many different ways. But being a father helped with being married for as many years as I was married helped a lot. And just my experience helped. So, but thank you for that.
Yeah, I love it. So you're trying to say is you're not actually a spy in real life.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I won't speak any more on that. but I just say you'd be surprised. In Hollywood, tons of spies. That's all I'll say.
Amazing. Steve, you're incredible. This was a ton of fun. I appreciate your time. Congrats on an awesome show and an awesome career. Thanks, buddy.